I've finally got the OnePlus 10 Pro in my hands, and I'm going to see what its camera is capable of. OnePlus took the wraps off the 10 Pro much earlier in the year, but it's only now that I've actually been able to get my grubby hands on it. It's the company's latest flagship, and as a flagship, it comes with all the bells and whistles you would expect, including Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor, a glorious 6.7-inch screen, 5G, fast charging, the list goes on. But it is the camera that I am particularly excited about. Not just because I'm a photographer, but because OnePlus phones have always had cameras that are decent, but not great. And with the 10 Pro, OnePlus is really hoping to up its game. You'll find 3 cameras on the back, including a 48-megapixel main sensor, a 50-megapixel ultra-wide camera, and an 8-megapixel telephoto camera that offers 3.3 times telephoto zoom. All of which sounds great. However, I've been given this phone quite early on, and OnePlus has insisted that I only take photos using the main camera. So that means I can't use the ultra-wide, and I can't use a telephoto, and I can't use the selfie camera on the front either. And I also can't use any of the cool new features, including the panorama mode, night mode, portrait modes, or the various Hasselblad color modes that it has included on the 10 Pro. So it was with that in mind that I pocketed some of its main rivals, including the iPhone 13 Pro, the Pixel 6 Pro, and the Galaxy S22 Ultra. And I headed to Scotland's beautiful coastal town of St Monnans to start the test. My first shot was this lovely scene overlooking the harbour. The OnePlus 10 did a great job here with natural colours and a pleasing level of contrast. The Pixels had similar colours and contrast, while the iPhones had a slight shift in colour tone and it does look a touch darker. Adjusting my position, I found this lovely scene using one of the fishing buoys as some interesting foreground. Again, I like the OnePlus's shot here, with the iPhones looking a bit darker while the S22 Ultra shot is much more vivid and punchy, which you might prefer for a quick snap, but in my opinion, it doesn't look quite as natural. Then there's the Pixel shot, which is probably my favourite from this particular test thanks to its overall beautiful colours and even contrast. One feature OnePlus said I can use though is the Pro mode, and that means I can also use its new RAW Plus. Now RAW Plus uses computational techniques like HDR to get an even exposure but still outputs an easily editable DNG RAW file. It's pretty much the same thing as Apple's ProRAW, and I'm a big fan of the extra flexibility it gets you when you're editing your images in apps like Adobe Lightroom. That let me take the raw version of that buoy image and produce a much more artful shot that I'm really pleased with beautiful colours but maintaining that exposure balance between the brighter sky and shadowy foreground. And I've done the same thing here, taking a fairly drab raw shot and injecting a bit more life into it in Lightroom. Of course, not all of you will want to spend the time in playing with Lightroom, but those of you who do want to try and squeeze every last bit of artistic detail out of your images will be well catered for with the RAW Plus mode. I then moved around the bay to photograph this amazing zigzag breakwater that juts into the sea. The OnePlus 10 Pro did a great job balancing that challenging exposure, and I think its shot is pretty much on a par with what I got from the iPhone, with the S22 Ultra's image looking a bit more cool and contrasty. And that's exactly the same thing I found on these amazing rocks that arc their way into the frame. The shots from the OnePlus 10 Pro, the 13 Pro and the Pixel 6 Pro are all well balanced with quite similar natural colours, while the S22 Ultra has gone a bit colder and more punchy. And that kind of punchiness is something that I might want to add later to my images in post, rather than having the camera force it on me by default. In fact, I switched to RAW Plus in the Pro mode again here on the OnePlus, and I really like this moody black and white edit I made on this scene. It's pin sharp, and the amount of dynamic range captured meant I was easily able to lift the shadows on the rocks and keep control of that bright sky. But the OnePlus isn't always spot on with its colours. I found this lovely scene crouching down in the waves that put some big rocks in the foreground, and I found that the OnePlus's shot was quite overly warm here, especially when viewed against the consistently cool tones of the S22 Ultra. The iPhone shot struck more of a balance to my eye, and I think it achieved a better looking image here as a result. I also found close-up shots to be a little bit more problematic for the OnePlus 10 Pro. In this macro shot, it's clear that there's quite a lot of lens blur, particularly around the edges of the photo, which is much less noticeable on the iPhone 13 Pro's image. But overall, I am impressed with how the OnePlus 10 Pro has performed in this early test. It's difficult to say at this point whether it's any better or worse than its rivals, but from the tests I've seen so far, I definitely say it's on a par with them, which really wasn't something that I could have said with the previous generations. Of course, before I can come to any kind of definitive verdict though, I will need to put that ultra-wide lens to the test along with the telephoto and its night mode and its portrait mode and all the various other modes that OnePlus has packed into this phone, which so far I'm not allowed to go near. But it's certainly off to a good start and I am excited to see what else it can do. What do you think to the OnePlus 10 Pro? Are you already excited to get it in your own hands, or are you already looking towards something else? Do make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want more information on any of these phones, then you can check out the description.